Hello and welcome to Loot Level Chat from lootlevelchill.com. My name's Adam Cook and this is episode 27. And if you're watching the video version, which you can find on the YouTubes, then you'll know, because you can see, that Mick Fraser and Lyle Pendle are with me as well. Hello, how are you both?
Hello there. Happy podcast to you.
Oh, happy podcast. Happy podcast to all. We're here. We're back. We're going to talk about games, probably.
To one and to all, a merry podcast.
A merry podcast to all.
And a happy new pod. I don't know. A bit early. Well, is it? Is it a bit early?
No,
that?
it's not. I went into the range.
Like, the range has fucking loads of stuff. It's exciting.
And it was just Christmas already. I was like, okay. There's like a little Halloween bit, and then it's just fucking Christmas.
I was going to save this for nearer. I mean, you've said Christmas now, so I can say it too. We can all now say the word Christmas. I was going to save this for nearer Christmas. You know, obviously, you get your tin of sweets, whichever brand. I'm not judging anyone. However, my wife informed me this year there is a new one on the market. Okay, and I know how people will feel about this brand because it's Marks and Spencer's, and though people like me generally we're not allowed in Marks and Spencer's. Obviously riffraff thieves. We can't. However, the price of them is rather good, and they do a tin and a box version. The tin version is, do you remember, so when you were younger, when you got a tin of them, this is the Sweets podcast, by the way, the tin was actually massive, like properly big. This is what
Everything
they do.
bigger.
It is a proper kilogram plus, and this may or may not sway you, there's a coffee cream in there.
It'll sway you.
Well, it did sway me. I got up to that moment and drove there and got the cheapest box I could find, and they're rather nice, I will admit. And I'm not sponsored by Marks and Spencer's, and as I say, I go in there risking what I'm risking, knowing I could end up spending the night in prison.
M&S wouldn't sponsor us.
Why?
Because they just
look how classy we all look with our.
We'd be sponsored by Heron Foods.
I mean, I am in a polo. So that probably helps.
I've got me and Lyle got shirts.
Yeah.
Tattoos though.
They're rakishly open, but well,
very rakish.
Yeah,
Lyle's rakish as always.
Yeah, really rakey over here.
There's no segue available to me, so I'm just going to say, Mick, you've been playing a game which you have. Well, I'm not going to attempt to say it because every time I try and say the name, I get it wrong. But you have dubbed it frequently in text to me as Yotei, which sounds like Gotti. Because the game you've been playing for the past few weeks is Ghost of
Yotei, yes.
And that's what we're calling it, Yotei.
Ghost of Yotei. It is Yotei. I kept saying Yotei.
I'm not sure it is.
It is Yotei. That's how she pronounces it in the game.
Oh, well, that's good enough.
It's a place. Yotei. Yotei.
Okay.
Ghost of Yotei.
The sequel to Ghost of Sausages, which most people enjoyed. Ghost of Tsushima,
which I really enjoyed. So I kind of went into this on a bit of a hype train anyway, because Ghost of Tsushima was my game of the year when it came out, and was it 22?
I'll edit the actual year over the top of you there. The game of game of.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. So I sort of went into this already hyped. It was my most anticipated game of the year. Which can still let you down.
Well, I was going to ask you that. I was going to say that can go one of two ways, because while you love the first one, if it is just the same.
Yeah. And at first I was a little bit worried it kind of was, because it does, like, initially. So Ghost of Tsushima takes a little while to get going. There's a lot of stuff, like, if you remember, it opens with like the battle, and then it sort of flashes back and flashes forward. It takes a little while for Jin to find his feet. You know, the stealth stuff he doesn't want to do because it's sort of against samurai code.
God, I forgot all about that stuff. Yeah, like
And he's got an ally right at the beginning. I can't remember her name.
The slightly older lady.
The archer, the thief. She like teaches him like the ways of stealth and this, that, and the other. And it's a bit against the samurai code to be sneaking up on people and cutting their throats while they're having a piss or whatever. But like in
specific,
Yotei,
go on.
So Yotei is about 300 years after. So there's no mention of Tsushima. There's no mention of Jin. I was expecting, and I admittedly I haven't looked in every nook and cranny of the game, but I was expecting to find something, I don't know, that would be a callback
Easter
to
eggs
him, like
of some kind. There definitely will be, because Sucker Punch always do that.
About him or something like that, but I didn't when I was playing. But it's obviously, apart from the ghost connotation, because she gets named the Ghost of Yotei. Well, they don't call her the Ghost of Yotei, but the game is set around.
Bless you.
Yeah, my daughter, bless her. The game is set around around Mount Yotei, so that's where it begins. And they call you the Onryo, which means ghost, because you're hunting down these outlaws. But it kind of launches straight into.
Hang on. I have to ask the elephant in the room question, because you just called it out there. The story involves you hunting down.
Yes.
You know what I'm getting at, so I'll just ask it. We've had a game with... You did, but for podcast listeners, we suspected... So this is a year where 2 games in similar settings... I don't know what
3,
period.
Really. But Rise of Ronin was also...
Fair enough, that was done this year as well.
Released this year, wasn't it?
But Assassin's Creed Shadows is very much a tale of revenge, of you hunting down... Should I, as someone who's played Shadows but not Ghost, should I care, or is it just
not really?
No, okay. Well, fair enough. Move on then.
So, Ghost of Tsushima was already like very Assassin's Creedy. Like, I think it's, to be honest, it's a different kind of open world in a lot of ways, but the gameplay.
Oh, so it was the Ubisoft game people felt okay to say they liked.
Yeah,
even though it's not made by Ubisoft, obviously.
And it already had like an Assassin's Creed-y feel. Like the combat was sort of unique, but the stealth elements were kind of, it's stealth elements. How many different ways can you do like an awareness meter or a silent assassination? Or
do you want it to be fun, or do you want it to be realistic?
Yeah. And so this builds on a lot of stuff from Tsushima. Not in doesn't take great big strides, but it does build on a lot of stuff from Ghost of Tsushima. So the storyline is the broad strokes, the inciting incident is very similar to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like a group of masked like bandits, outlaws, sort of, attack your home, kill your family, leave you sort of they sort of pin Atsu to a tree with a katana, and then set fire to the tree. And you don't find out for a long time how she got down from the tree and survived, because you see her sort of pinned up and she's just... So I won't spoil all that sort of stuff. But anyway, she sort of then became like this, just like this force for vengeance. But it's taken her 16 years to come back to Yotei. And so it takes a while for you to find out what happened in those intervening 16 years. But she's returned to this place now to hunt down Saito, which is the leader of this group of bandits, and his sort of the Yotei 6. And that's where it sort of diverges from Assassin's Creed Shadow. Like, you're still like looking for clues as to where these different sort of outlaws have gone. They're all like legends in their own right, but Saito is kind of a character who he's very nuanced, like like the way the Khan was in the Ghost of Tsushima. Like, he wasn't just necessarily evil, like he was cruel and he was ruthless and he was a conqueror, but he wasn't just outright like mustache twirling villain. And and neither is Saito in this. Like, Saito has a dream of uniting Japan and freeing it from shogunate rule. That's what, and he's doing it with Edo. This
sounds a bit Dynasty Warriors-y.
Yeah, so this is the thing. It's quite difficult, I think, and because Rise of the Ronin was set in like a similar time period as well. And I do think it would be nice to see someone tell a new story in that. It's a bit like a Star Wars thing now, where that time period has just got, everyone just sort of tells the same story. Like there's an uprising of outlaws, all these shades of grey, who's the real villain, and all this sort of stuff. It's very much that again, but it tells it in a way that feels like it's very personal. And I know Assassin's Creed Shadow was, but there comes a point in Assassin's Creed Shadows where you have both the characters unlocked, and then you sort of jump in between them. And that was the point in the story of Assassin's Creed Shadows, where it just suddenly became like an Assassin's Creed game now. Yeah. Like, I lost a lot of the personal stakes in the story, because I was just sort of...
It will.
Yeah, and then it's just like... And then you've just got like this great big smorgasbord of targets to go in any order you want, and it becomes very impersonal and very gamey. Whereas Yotei always maintains that personal element, because Atsu is a lone wolf. That's what she's referred to as quite a lot of the time. She's even got like a wolf companion in it, who
lone
like,
wolf,
I did find, I said it in the review, I did find the wolf a little bit distracting. So there's a couple of things in this that really sort of like slap you in the face with, this is a game. And like the wolf is one of those things, because if you remember Tsushima, you had like the fox dens, and you'd find a cute little fox, and then you'd follow it, and it'd give you like a charm or a new place to prey or whatever. Yeah. Well, they're in this, but they've added a lot of new stuff. And one of the new things they've added are wolf dens. And you'll come across a den, and like there'll be a load of dead wolves outside it. And then a wolf will come out, and Atsu will say, and every time she does, she says, "Oh, it's you." And like, this happened. Like I did like 12 of these, like every time in all different places around this massive like country that you're riding around. Every time you meet the wolf and it comes out of another cave where there's another load of dead wolves, she says, "Oh, it's you." And then you like, as you do these wolf missions, you level up like a wolf skill tree.
Okay.
And then like you get things, so like you can disarm people in this, and then when you just disarm them and they drop their weapons, you can pick them up and throw them, and it'll do an instant kill on most enemies. And like you can unlock a skill where when you do that, the wolf comes in, and then you can unlock another skill where when the wolf comes in, it stays with you for a certain amount of time.
Sounds like Final Fantasy 16 with
I guess
I'm getting that dog's name.
No, but it's that sort of thing, and like you'll do standoffs, and you'll get to a certain point where the wolf will come up while you're doing a standoff. And then when you kill one, the wolf will kill one.
Can you ride the wolf, or does she stick to horses?
No, you can just you ride the horse. You have one horse.
I didn't know if it was like a dire wolf. I'm not being that stupid, like like Game of Thrones.
No. But like it did take me out a little bit, because it also does a thing where you'll meet merchants, and so I did appreciate one side of it.
And they're wolves.
No.
Okay.
But usually you'll meet a merchant in a game. Like you'll go to a town. There's a load of merchants, and they're all selling a certain type of armor, blah, blah, blah. Then you go to the next town, and there's another load of merchants. Whereas in this, like every camp that you reach in different areas, it's the same merchants, because they're...
Didn't the first do some, like, outside of towns, like when you found the little...
Yeah.
like the travelling merchant style thing. I get what you're saying, and you've played it, and I haven't, but I think Ghost of Tsushima was... I think it was a very gamey game anyway, so I'm not expecting Yotei to be like this sim. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying, and of course, obviously, we have to tell people that stuff's still there, but it's not. You're not putting me off. I will say that much. It's like,
I gave it a 10.
Well,
it's fantastic. All these little things, none of it took me out of it, and like you kind of, and also it had to sort of be that way, because I think it would have. If you had to like walk around everywhere you went, the wolf was with you, but you get this feeling that the wolf is kind of like a spirit animal type deal, because like sometimes you can camp wherever, like when you're on your horse, you can just camp, and that refills your spirit, and you can cook food, and there's like mini games to start the fire, and like sometimes the wolf will just be at the camp with you, and sometimes it won't. Sometimes you'll sit at a camp, and one of the merchants...
Sorry, the dog from Final Fantasy 16. Sorry, I'm pretty sure it's Torgal. Apologies. It
is.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Impulse control was left in there, just shouting Torgal. Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes you'll sit at a camp, and one of these merchants will wander up, and it will just be like, "I fancy seeing you here," and then they'll sit, and then you can do your thing. But it does cool stuff with the map, like, so it's quite freeform.
Does it still do the wind thing where you have to...
Yeah. So you still follow the wind to donations. But Atsu's got a shamisen. Shamisen.
And sorry, for that is a
Japanese guitar, basically.
Thank you.
It's like you sit and pluck it. So if you remember, in Ghost of Tsushima, you could go into the map and you could select fox dens on the map, and then the wind would just guide you there. And it was very gamey. It was like menu, click. And so in this, you learn new songs, and certain songs you play, and they will guide you to those things. So it's the same system.
Like an Ocarina of Time now.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more immersive in that you can ride your horse and be strumming on your shamisen, and it'll take you where you need to go.
Can you wolf ride the horse with you? Because that.
No, it does. Like I said, though, every now and again you'll break into a sprint on the horse, and you get the bars come down, and it goes all cinematic. And every now and again, the wolf will just be running alongside you, and then when you slow down, it'll bugger off. And it does these little things. It's really stylized in a lot of ways. I was going to ask you
about that. I know we don't often sort of bang on about graphics on our pod because it's not. Well, but the thing is, right? Although the Ghost of Tsushima was a PlayStation 4 game originally, and it did get upgrades and stuff on PS5, and it came to PC with all the stuff, the ultra wide, blah blah blah. In my head, this is one of those games where it's like, I don't know what headroom you've left to lean into, because I remember Tsushima looking really, really good.
So Tsushima was really good looking. Yeah. This goes up a step in a couple of ways. The main way it does it is colours. So like with Tsushima, the way this uses colours is just and it does things with. So you'll be riding along the meadow, and again, very gamey. If you run in the white flowers, your horse goes faster. Right, I don't know why that works. It doesn't look bad when it happens. It doesn't take you out of anything because these strips of white flowers are everywhere. But it's a bit odd. But it's stark. It stands out. You get this beautiful shock of white going through the meadow, and you'll have like a sudden tree with just red leaves will be in the distance. And the draw distance in this game is I don't think I've ever seen anything as good on console before as the draw distance in this game. It's absolutely spectacular. And there's a thing. It's in the 1 minute review actually on YouTube. If anyone wants to go and have a look at that, that starts with me on top of a mountain, and I'd climbed up Mount Yotei. And when you get to the top, it does that thing which a lot of Assassin's Creed or open world games do, where you can look around and see like everything. So like I can go back down. That's the town I left 4 hours ago or whatever, and it's got that sort of immense sense of scale. But it's just stunning, and it also the lighting, like time of day, and because it's got a constant day-night cycle, you can be riding. And I found myself just riding everywhere, like Spider-Man. You don't want to use the fast travel. I was going to ask you that because
you mentioned that in the review that you didn't fast travel. And that I've not played a game, I don't think, apart from Spider-Man, where I've genuinely had that. I don't fast travel. There's no point. Well, no point, no need.
Upwards of sort of 25 hours I was fast traveling, because like you do get to a point where you're like, I've got a lot to do on this map, and it's like, and everywhere you go, whether you complete the activity or not, it marks, it appears on your map, and then you can fast travel there.
Sorry, like for anything?
Anything, like a fox den, or like you'll find musician camps, anything, because there's so many activities on the map. It's brimming, but it's not just like.
Is it the Spider-Man style speed loading in this game? Because I remember Tsushima got updated fast to be like that.
Yeah, it is super fast. Okay, I mean, cool. It's a PS5 exclusive.
No, that's why I asked, because they do do that
it's
well.
Super fast. Like fast travel, you open the menu, you press triangle, and you're there. There's not a loading screen in between. It just appears, and it does this cool thing with the map actually. So there's a merchant that you meet, a cartographer, and you buy scraps of treasure maps from him. Mm-hmm. And when you go into your map, on the left, you'll have a thing that says treasure maps, and you press square and it lists them all. And when you click on them, it will give you like a little section of map, and you have to find where it goes on the world map and then click on it, and then she'll stick it to the map, and you get this little it's all like a post-it note stuck to the map, and it will show like a shrine or a fox den or something like that. But everything that she learns, so it's done in a way where you're investigating where these outlaws are, and sometimes you'll beat a group of people, and you'll beat the last guy down, and then it'll be like, tell me about the spider, or tell me about the Oni, and then they'll give you a little bit of information, and that'll like update your map, like where they last were, or where else to go for the next part, and it does that throughout, and like. Because I was 20 hours in the first area, in just the first area of the game.
That happened to me in the first one, and that's why it took me quite so long to get further into it. I could not push myself to just like, look, stop hoovering. Because
it's so organic, and it really is organic. It's not like in an Assassin's Creed game. And again, I'm not knocking Ubisoft because I like the way I like their games, but it's not done in a way where you open a map and there's an icon, or you look in a spyglass and all these icons appear on the map, and it's not done like that. It's just like sometimes you'll just be riding and you'll see a campfire and you'll go to the campfire and there's a guy at the campfire, and then that is just a massive side quest, and like you could have missed him completely. Like there's a lot of side quests in this where people look like there are a couple of fetch quests. There's a couple of things where people are like, climb the mountain and bring me all the blue flowers or whatever. But the majority of side quests are like there's one where I rode up to a camp and there were some people there, and they were like, "Oh, we keep getting robbed. Can you look like you can handle yourself? Can you stay with us? And like for the night, we'll pay you." And because you're a mercenary and a bounty hunter and kind of a money grubbing bitch, you're like, "Yeah, sure, you pay me and I'll do whatever." So you sit at the camp, and then like a night goes by, and then you find out like what the backstory of this like little thing is and what's going on, and then you solve it. But again, you could just miss that. You could opt to say no and not help. But like there's these, it's not like a massive choices matter game or anything.
So is it difficulty scaling in terms like I can't remember that for some reason. My brain's fogged on it.
I didn't notice much of a shift in difficulty.
No, but so you're not like leveling up.
No. So you find altars.
A few games in my head. Yeah.
So there's two ways this game progresses you. So the first and simplest way is that you find altars of reflection. And when you go to altars of reflection, you pray, and then you get a point which you can put into one of your skill trees. They're dead straightforward. And you'll normally just happen upon them, or you'll find them in treasure maps, or someone will tell you, "I saw an altar near here," and then it will come on your map, and then it's there. But the other way is the cooler way, so in Ghost of Tsushima, you had stances. So you had 4 stances you had to learn.
Water
and they were like, you had a stance that would be better against spears, better against big guys, better against so in this, she doesn't have stances. You have multiple weapons.
Ooh, okay.
So you have dual katanas, you have kurasigawa, I think they're called. It's the hooks on chains.
Okay.
You have an adachi, a single katana, and then you have like a spear, a yari. So, but you don't, like in a normal game, you would just like, I don't know, you'd kill a boss and you'd pick it up, or you'd do a mini game or whatever. But in this, you have to find the trainers, and then they train you. Like even when you find the person who teaches you how to make and use explosive firebombs,
hang on,
you have to train to do it.
So there are no stances in this game?
No, it's not done with stances.
The reason I say that is because that's one of the few things about Tsushima I didn't like, because I just couldn't. I don't know why I couldn't quite gel with. So you need that one for that. So how does it work in terms of these weapons though? Like, so it's
exactly the same. It's rock paper scissors. So when they've got a spear,
I mean, how do you like? Is it just how do you change between say a dual katana?
Hold the right trigger and then you press a button and she switches the weapon.
But is it like so? I'm not even going to try and. No, but so if I'm just using a katana generally, it will be like this enemy is one I need to switch to.
That's
easier for me to remember. I know that sounds stupid, but it's easier for me to see like a big shieldy guy and go, okay, the shieldy guys mean spear, instead of I need to press right because that's the wind stance. You know, that sounds a bit like lazy. But...
The clever thing is that it doesn't. So say you got a guy come at you with a spear and you keep your katana out instead of getting your switching to dual katanas. It doesn't necessarily. You can still fight him, but what it will do is you'll feel like the parry window feels tighter, or he staggers you more because you're using a lighter weapon, and you're so like.
So it's like a difficulty modifier based on the weapon you're using or not using, I suppose.
Yeah, and like the big guys, if you don't switch to the big Odachi, you can't break through their defenses because they're just massive like hulks. So you do have to switch, but you can muddle on if you wanted with just the katana. But when you train, it does
like that.
Yeah, but it does this cool thing where when you want to learn a new, you have to find the trainer. It's a side quest, but usually they're tied to the main quest, so you can't really miss them. But you go up to like you'll find a trainer. Like for example, without spoiling anything, I'll do the dual katana guy. So when he's the first one that you meet, when he's training you, he's like, I don't need to train you to use 2 katanas. I need to train you to use your left hand at the same time as your right hand, basically. So he trains your left hand. So Like there's a bit where he throws coconuts or something at you, and you fucking can't hit them. Doesn't matter what you like. You try your best to hit the timing right.
Is this a cutscene or you're
actively... No, you do it.
Oh, really?
You do it, right? And then you know the bamboo cutting things?
Yes, yeah. I remember them.
So he's like, you learn to cut the bamboo with your left hand. So you're like, okay. And then it gives you like the weirdest fucking button combos that your left hand just can't.
Yeah, that's clever. Like, that's really clever.
Like you've got, and it really does feel weird because I was like, it's all your left hand, and I'm right-handed, and I normally use like if you use your hands in coordination.
It's like trying to play a game you're used to with a Nintendo controller, and and it says press A, and you're like,
yeah. And he's like, and you've got it, so you do this god awful like thing, and you're like, I can't fucking do it, and then like you fail, and then like you do some more stuff with him, and you do some sparring with him, and he kicks your ass, and then he does it, and then he gives you the bamboo again, and it's a slightly easier combination, so you're like, oh, I did a bit better, and then by the end of this like training like sequence lasts for about half an hour, side quest sort of thing. By the end of it, it's a normal sort of bamboo combination. The timing window on cutting the things he throws is much smoother, and so you haven't achieved anything. The game has made it harder and then naturally easier, but because of the way it does it, it feels really immersive, and it feels like you really took part in the training of Atsu. So you feel like it feels really cool, like the way they do that, as opposed to just going, you have learned this technique, now hold down whatever. It makes you like, you don't have to use it, like you don't go through and then it does this left-handed shit. It's just for the training thing, and then it's just like a normal any other weapon. But I really like and it does this with the weapons that, as you learn, it does this thing where she's not naturally just good at everything, but she is a soldier. Like whenever she left home and survived the sort of attack on her family, ever since then, all she's done is dedicate herself to learning to fight, she's like,
it does sound like there's parallels between her and Now Away from Shadows. It does. And
but
that's fine.
Whereas Naoe's more of like she's still very young now, and she's like more of an assassin, and she's very sneaky, and she's light on her feet, and she's trained by her dad, who was like a samurai master. Atsu and Yotei is more
proper, like soldier, like
she's a soldier. Like she talks to people about. Like, there's a particular battle that's quite a famous recent battle, and she was at it. And every time anyone finds out she was at it, they're like, "Fucking hell, you were there and you walked away." And it's like, so know that she is a very accomplished soldier. But for the last like 5 years or 4 years or whatever, she's just been hunting bounties. She's just a bounty hunter.
It sounds like
that's how it does your notoriety as well. So there's bounty boards, and that your bounty will be on the bounty board. And as you level up as you do more stuff, you'll get new names, and it'll be a new portrait of you, and it'll be like, so you get a new title, and eventually you end up as like the Ghost of Yotei, and everybody's terrified of this.
It sound like I don't want to give people like emotional whiplash, and we just suddenly start talking about the blue blur in Sonic CrossRoads, but it does sound like this is actually genuinely like a step up, and not necessarily massive in every area, but it does sound like it is a step up for every part of the game, and that's great.
I think I could go back to Tsushima and not feel like, sometimes you can't go back when you play a sequel to something. It's really hard. I don't feel like I feel like I could probably play the director's cut on PS5 of Tsushima and not be like, fucking hell, how did we put up with this crap? I don't think it's like that. I think it's a much smoother progression, and it's more, like I said, in Borderlands, in a way, with Borderlands 4, it's more that they've added a lot to it rather than taken anything away or really changed the fundamentals. Like, a lot of stuff is just, it's sort of a renamed version of something. A lot of the stuff that was already in Tsushima is still in this, like the bamboo games. It's got a gambling game in this now where you can go and you can take part in this sort of gambling game, which is a coin slide game, which is really fun. They've added you're
not an RPG if you haven't got like some sort of game that's outside the game.
Exactly. And it's just a way you earn a bit more money. Sometimes you can earn sort of cosmetics and outfits, and it does the thing where you'll just be riding and you'll just see some like a flag it's like swaying in the wind, and that's like, you'll go up to it and it'll be a pillar and there'll be a sword kit on there to change your scabbard. It's got all the stuff that was in Tsushima. It's just got more stuff, and they've managed to make a very, very different story with a very, very different narrative feel in a much different atmosphere, while maintaining that balance of, yeah, it's all action, but it's also really personal, and there's some really tough stuff in it, like not necessarily choices that you make, because it's not like that, but if you remember in like Tsushima, a lot of the conflict was about Jin not wanting to abandon like the honorable ways of the samurai. This has a similar thing to that, where it's like she's conflicted, there's more to the bad guy than meets the eye, there's more to why he killed her family than meets the eye, and it's like I think they just do a really good job of making it feel like a proper sequel.
That actually does lead us quite neatly into, because although it's not a direct sequel, we can talk about some Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, which is, it is sort of a sequel in that it's a new game in a series, isn't it?
I guess that sort of is what a sequel has to sort of be, even if it's not necessarily like, just where the last one left off, he's got a new car.
Yeah, Sonic's got a new car, new game, please.
New game, new car. Great stuff.
Where do you want to start with this, Lyle? Because it's a really interesting one for me, because I'm going to butcher the name, but the previous one, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed?
I think so, yeah.
Was
probably
really good. Like it sort of re-announced those games as like not just Mario Kart. And listen, I'll say it right out of the gate. I'm obviously a big Nintendo fan, and I like Mario Kart World. I prefer Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Just going to say that right out of the gate, and then hand it the smoking grenade to you.
That's fine. No, I agree. I said I decided I had to put that in the actual reviews to upset people, because I like upsetting people. It's just one of my whole things. Sonic Racing does what Mario can't. Like Mario Kart, you see? It's pretty good, right?
Retros, yeah. Saves just saying the blue blur over and over again, which is what I tend to normally do.
I do always say the blue blur. It's a great way to not just keep saying Sonic.
I think this is better because of what it isn't.
Yeah, I kind of think that's
what Mario Kart World isn't. Or what Mario Kart World lacks, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a lot of what made me so happy to be playing Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is that you go around traditional tracks and you do races around these traditional tracks, and it means you get to know these tracks, and that's really nice because I like knowing the tracks I'm on. And I don't necessarily want to race around a big world. I just want to do fun kart racing. And there's other things about it that I really, really like as well. Like, it's not that this is just like, the most normal kart racer and it's a bit refreshing. Like, it does clever stuff with kart racing. It does things like, my personal favorite, and the thing that I will remember from this game forever, is that it takes that feeling you get playing, any Mario Kart, where there is a person who's always in second and you're always in first, and you're like they'll hit you with shells more and all that stuff, and you'll get more and more annoyed at them, and they'll be like, Toad, my rival Toad. And instead, it's that you have a rival. There's a full rival system, and this one character will be basically like, they'll trash talk you, they'll focus their attacks on you. I mean, trash talk's a little bit stern for what some of them do, admittedly.
I remember my first, because it was Cream, and that felt like...
Oh, I fucking hate Cream. When Cream is your rival, it's the worst, because Cream's like, just tries to say nice things.
That's what I mean. It was like, this is weird. You're nice. Why are you
but
my
it feels
rival?
Almost more insulting when they're being nice and also, beating the shit out of you with rockets and stuff, Like, it just feels, it can be, but, there's also the enemy characters who are like, Eggman, or all the ones from Sonic the Lost World that you forgot about, like Zaz. Everyone remembers Zaz?
There's an awful lot of them in this game where I'm like, I know you're a thing, but that's as far as we go, because like you say, like Zaz, I'm like, you exist.
Yeah, sure. Believable. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, Cream was one of them where I had to go, Cream? There's a character called... Oh, there is a character called Cream.
Yeah, they were introduced in Sonic Advance 3 or something stupid,
I don't know any Sonic lore. I know Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Shadow.
They're all in it.
All right.
They're all in it.
But that's it. I don't remember. Wasn't there a girl Sonic? else
well,
Sonic
there's
cool?
Amy. There's another. Oh, hang on. Let's see. I've played it and I'm forgetting. There's Amy.
There's loads. You
what's
get
the-
all the
The main
you get all
female
the
character that's not Amy. There is another one. Putting you on
Blaze
spot
the
now.
cat. Are you thinking Blaze the cat? You might be.
No,
That's someone.
it's a smaller character. But there's another. But Blaze the cat was like a meme for quite a while, wasn't it?
There's so many characters, and it is stupid, and
Yes.
most of them no one will like, obviously, and that's fine.
I want the DLC stuff. That's bothering me a little bit because I'm not normally one of those that falls afoul of like, oh, I really would like the season pass. I do want to race around that course as Yakuza characters. I do want to be Joker from Persona. I do want that. Like, that's the thing I want.
So is this like a? This has got loads of characters from different games in it. Then?
No,
not really.
Or it hasn't yet,
not
but
yet.
it will.
Yeah,
It's
like
sort
they
of
announced,
is gonna, yeah.
they announced Mega Man's going to be added. Is one of the season pass characters from the Tokyo Game Show.
SpongeBob
No,
in
it
it,
was,
and
yeah,
coming
SpongeBob's
and
in it. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Minecraft and
Oh, God,
Because there's no like
Minecraft Steve.
Sega-verse to draw these characters from,
Well,
is there?
well, this is the thing. There kind of is.
It'll be whoever they can get a license agreement from, and
No, because don't forget Sega bought Atlas, which means they bought Yakuza, which means they bought Persona. So there kind of is.
So there's a little bit they get to draw from, yeah, but
Yeah,
then
it's
alongside
not just
that,
Sonic.
but like I played because like it unlocked partway through the review period where suddenly Hatsune Miku was there, and I was like, I'll play as Hatsune Miku because I play as her in Fortnite sometimes, so like why not? Like, you know, all these characters are fucking everywhere now. That's that's the world we live in. So, you know, I'll do that.
Let's face it, once Sonic appeared in a Mario game, or Mario appeared in a Sonic game. No, it was Sonic appeared in a Mario game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because it was Nintendo.
Yeah.
Once that happened, collaborations are on the menu, aren't they? Like,
That's
it doesn't
it.
matter.
That's just it. We just do all of them now. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it works. It's fine. And like, you know, in terms of characters, it's not that important. You can put different cars on them. They have a few different like stats and stuff, but it doesn't matter. You just pick someone you like, whether it's some completely obscure snowboarding bird from Sonic Riders that no one will ever remember, or it's, you know, you want to be Tails because you like Tails, and that's fine. Tails is nice. It's got two tails.
I do like though that like, and I think this must be a theme going forward. It's not just his Minecraft Steve in that Sonic car. Like the recent Mega Man announcement, like his Mega Man, but he's also got a Mega Man vehicle, and they're really distinctive and it's very obvious. Like that's Mega Man's vehicle. Whereas one thing I do feel from Mario Kart World, I don't want to. It's not a competition; they can both exist. But with Mario Kart World, it just feels like here's a load of karts,
loads of cards, and like they're fun, different themes, and it's fine. But they're not necessarily like this is this one.
Yeah, that's Mario's. That's Birdo. You know, it's like it. I might be missing them. Maybe there are quite a few, but it didn't.
There are a lot, so yeah, you know, maybe you've not got enough coins yet. Go get some coins.
Yeah, but the customization is something I didn't know I missed actually until I played this.
Yeah, no, I totally.
The
I
fact
feel that
you know
too.
the parts check. I mean, they sort of do still do that in World, like don't they? Like if you get a heavy cart, but the customization in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds feels more like Mario Kart 8, I suppose, doesn't it? Like
and when we loved that, so you can see why it'd be, you know, this nice familiar thing. But it just like it also has like, you know, a few other kind of familiar elements. Like they do the whole like you'll be a boat for a bit and a plane for a bit, and you know, all that sort of thing. That's always fun. I really like the main sort of hook about these cross worlds is that basically you'll drive through portals and end up somewhere else. So every race, the middle lap is just something else. So you'll be like, you know, doing your normal, you're in these fun fields and there's all the Sonic loops and stuff. And then you'll go through this portal and then suddenly there's like a dragon flying and there's lava everywhere. And that's what that lap is. And it's really cool. It's just this really nice way of mixing things up. And then for the third lap, you go back to the original course. So you still get to sort of get used to that course and, you know, get to see it again. But you've had this little bit of a change of pace. And then all these sort of middle courses, you'll slowly get to recognize them because a lot of them are just separate. Like you can't race on Dragonfire course. That's just one lap that you'll get sometimes. And if you're in the lead, you get to pick if you want like race on that track or if you want just like pick a random other one. And so you get like this little bit of a like benefit for being in first that makes you feel like, you know, oh, my reward is that I get to pick, and it's not necessarily going to like, you know, mean you win the race or anything, but it's just nice. It's a nice thing to have.
I like the fact as well.
Sorry.
Well, just to finish, because you were talking about the tracks, I like the fact that when you, so like in any kart racing game, you go like, here's course 1, course 2, course 3, and then here's the special finale course. The special finale 4th course in this is 1 lap of each of those 3 you've done. And I think that's quite clever, because it means when you get to that course, you do know roughly. So rather than it being like there's jeopardy because this is the final one, and there's too much jeopardy because this is a course you just don't know, you kind of do, but
you kind of can't not know it because you'll have played it just now, and you can get extra points for winning that one. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I really like it. I think it works really well.
Sorry,
so
Mick,
this isn't.
I
was going to say the last Sonic racing game I remember was Sonic Racing. Was it called Transform?
That was the last one. All Stars Transformed. Yeah,
that's it. So is this connected to that, or is this a completely new?
What are you asking?
Connected how? It's another racing game.
Yeah. Are you asking about lore? Because
no. But in Transform, does it have that element where like your car will just turn into a plane, and then it will just like?
It does still do that. Yeah.
It's just not the focus. Like that was the big thing about All Stars Transformed.
Yeah.
That's not a big thing. It's not. I don't even think they mention it, do they?
I think it sort of happens in the first. I think in the first Grand Prix you do, it's kind of like a tutorial where, like, the second level you get a little pop up that says boats this time. Instead of drifting, you do like a jump in your boat. So
that's right.
So learn to do that, and then the next one it's like also planes. You can drift up and down in a plane. Don't know if plane drifting makes much sense, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to need you to help me with the name of the mechanic. The mechanic I really loved in this, that just kind of pushed me over the edge from being like, I like this to I love this, is so when you're you got all your customization, and you can pick your racer, and you can blah, blah, blah. But then there's like, God, what is it called? I'm just going to struggle to describe it even. You can pick like a bonuses.
Oh, it's like your little, like,
that you can open up more of.
Something.
Gadgets. It might be gadgets. Yeah,
but
so
it's
you can
like it's a little grid you have of different perks. Basically,
like you can pick one that's like start with 2 boosts. I think it was 2 boosts, might be 3. But as you progress through it, you naturally are leveling up as well. Which again, I hate to keep saying this, but kind of adds something I was missing from Mario Kart World, in that there's a like more progression, because you are progressing, because you are unlocking more slots, so that you can now equip not just the boost, but also an upgrade for one of the weapons that you particularly like to pickups, items.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. It was like it was a way to sort of customize how you played a little bit, because like I found that against the because I was quite often in first against the sort of like higher-ish level of like computer racers, that I would get a lot of these spiky like ball power-ups, which you basically drop as a big mine, and it gets in the way, and you can throw them too, but like they're a very good thing to drop behind you, and you'll hit the people in second and third, etc. And I realized, like, okay, well, if I equip this gadget that then this will make it so that these spiky balls are suddenly like double the size, and it's like suddenly if you're dropping a thing that's double the size, loads of people are going to hit it because it's really in the way. And it's like you can customize this to whatever level you want. You can work out what weapons you're going to use more or like more. You can start with different weapons. You can even just do things that are like you get a bit of a tune-up, or you don't need to drift as long before you get a boost.
I used that quite a bit, that one. I like that one at the start,
that
for
was
sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just really fucking fun, isn't it, as well? Like,
yeah, like there were so few things that I could really say I didn't enjoy about it. Like for me, it was a lot of the early courses aren't like super Sonic themed. Like you're not like, oh, that's a Sonic level I recognize, or that's like that feels like really in this world. Like they're sort of like it's a desert, I guess. It's a like whereas if you're playing, say, Mario Kart, the opponent to this game, and not both of them can exist at once, as we've discussed. Then you in the Mario game you will always know, like, oh, this is the most Mario heavy Mario world that you could ever drive through. Like there are Mario enemies, Mario power-ups, Mario like bits of scenery. Like you couldn't mistake this for another world if you tried. And Sonic doesn't quite have that level of theming, especially early on. You get there a little bit towards the end, but it felt like I'd have liked that the whole time. But it's like it's not that big a deal. And if you're like Mick, where you can only name 4 Sonic characters, then you won't care at all. You'll be like, this is great. I love this world. It's icy, great.
Charmy, that's a Sonic character.
Charmy B, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a really obscure one to pull out.
I was just gonna say it's weird, right? Because often when you get, and Nintendo have been really good at this recently. Like we've talked about this in years past. Like when they come back to a franchise, and you think, well, I know what to expect. Zelda's the prime example of this. Like Zelda's a game you know what to expect from, and then Breath of the Wild's released. I know you're not as big a fan as I am of that, but you can't deny that it's a bloody big thing to have done.
Yeah.
And usually you kind of can't walk that back because this exists now in the world, and it's like, well, now everything's got to be that because that was like this mind-blowing thing. And like it is the elephant in the room, but it is a big deal, Mario Kart World. It like it was the Nintendo Switch 2 launch title, so it is a big deal, and it is fair to compare the two. They're both available on Switch 2 for a start. It's interesting to me that you've gone big, Nintendo's gone big with World, and let you open world roam. But I don't miss that at all, playing Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Like, not at all. There's no part of me that is like, I really wish... Not at all. That's just not what I want from that. And important to say, I think you and I are fairly aligned on that, but your mileage may vary. If you love that part of Mario Kart World, more power to you. Great. I kind of didn't.
It is also worth saying as well that there has just been a Mario Kart World update that has made it so that you can see more open world elements on the map and might make that more enjoyable for people. But
I
a long
did
time
think
after
that,
launch.
but I unless I misunderstood, I believe that only shows things you have got.
Oh, does it?
So
Weird.
it's.
I haven't loaded it up. I just saw that something was
same.
happening with the open world and was like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that same. I keep looking for it, thinking this will be the update that lets me queue with friends. This will be, and like that. Listen, we're not going to shit on another game. We're talking about Sonic Racing, but like it's wild.
Yeah.
CrossWorlds is wonderful, and it is available on I think everything. I want to say.
Yeah, pretty much. I think so.
Switch to. It was one of them weird ones that it actually feels like we're talking about a game we played a lifetime ago, but because it's out as we record it today, because it was one of those pay and you get a week early, and then of course we had it for review for that. Yeah. So it does feel like a bit of a strange. It feels like a strange game to have done that with, for me.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
because like when the sports game does it, like I've been playing loads of, I nearly said FIFA, FC 26, and that does that. And they do it because people are like desperate for the new FC. FIFA. This doesn't seem like one of those. Do you know what I mean? Like where you're like but they did it.
I don't know. Maybe it did, but I have no idea. For me, I can't really see there being like armies of fans being like the next Sonic Racing game. I'll pay to play that early, but like I don't know. Maybe people did. I can't say I like checked out how busy it felt because I'd already reviewed it, and there was at least some nice time slots during the review period where it was like play at this time, so it's busy, and people did. So I got to play the online. It was fun.
It was. I thought it was quite telling that. I want to say today. It was actually yesterday when they announced the Mega Man stuff. It was like. That's clever marketing for me because it's like you're announcing here's a thing that's coming to the game that don't forget it's out today now it's out, it's finally out. And that felt like a clever thing to do. It's really strange because I really enjoyed this game, and I know you did because it was give it a 9.5. It's just such a strange thing to me because it feels like a big game because it's a big deal because I was a Sega kid growing up, and yet it just feels like there are so many games at the moment that
I could have talked about 7 games this week.
This is it. But this one particularly for me almost feels, and I hate saying it because I don't want it to be true, but it almost feels like it's come and gone, and it's just literally out today.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe it's just that it feels that way to us.
That's it.
With it actually coming out, it won't necessarily be the case. I mean, it's not something that I'm gonna, not keep installed on my PlayStation.
I want to play a SpongeBob, man. I want to play. I want to hear the voice lines and the dot. I want to be able to drive around the course with SpongeBob just doing his laugh.
Yeah, and
like
and you will do that.
I bloody hope so. I'd be really upset if that wasn't somehow because you can customize your horn in this, can't you?
Yes, you can.
If there is not just SpongeBob laughing repeatedly as a horn, and you can spam. I would be really
drive
upset.
everyone mad, and
that's
that's doubly good, Yeah.
I kind of want to know what Minecraft Steve's gonna do. Because there's a female Minecraft. Well, not me. I can't think what her name is. There is the female Minecraft lead has a name, and it's genuinely,
no idea.
Yeah, there are lots of crossovers going on. It does look like they're going to continue to do them because, as I say, Capcom now with he said Monster Hunter with Mega Man. It does seem like
Alex.
One of the on the video version, one of the kids has walked past.
Amazing.
It is Alex. Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can move on to the final game this week we want to talk about. But before we do, I want to mention that we have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/lootlevelchill. And if you're interested in some of the games Lyle alluded to there, like the 7,000 other games we could talk about, we're actually going to be talking about some of them in a different way. We do various podcasts on LLC DLC, the downloadable content for the main podcast, if you will. And one of those is where we talk about games and series as we like to come back, whether they're getting remakes and it's made us think of them. And so one that's, I think, actually out this week as this goes live, might be next week, Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. Or is it Chronicle? Chronicle or Chronicles? Chronicles.
I think it's Chronicles. If it's not Chronicles, you have to edit out a lot of S's in that review.
No, I'm sure it's Chronicles because otherwise I have to go back and edit those out. Also, Deus Ex just got announced as coming to consoles in next year, and so that's another one we're going to talk about. And one from me, Pac-Man World 2 Repack is out now, and spoilers, I kind of want another one of them. So go to patreon.com/lootlevelchill and you'll be able to download that. We release those on Wednesdays. But back to the games that are happening right now. A game that started as DLC many years ago. Not that one. We've talked about that one plenty. Dying Light, the Beast.
Steve's not here today, so.
Yeah.
Another one that's out now. It feels like it's been a long time coming. Tremendous fun, I think.
Yeah, great.
I'm a big fan of games that have really deep stories that enrapture you and you can't stop thinking about and you dream about. But I also love it when a game's just like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you could drop kick a zombie off of a roof? I'm like, it would be cool to do that. I can do that. Cool, I'm in. And Dying Light the Beast lets you do that really quickly compared to the previous two games, actually.
It's a lot like it's a lot more like the first game than the second game, I think. Like I got a lot
more. And they
more...
know that they've done that very deliberately.
Yeah, it's very deliberate. I mean, the protagonist is the same, as you said. Yeah. This was originally going to be Dying Light for DLC for Dying Light 2, which wouldn't have made much sense. So I'm glad they did it as its own thing, and it's big enough. It's not a little game.
Before we get into the game like heavy, I want to shout out how cool it is they've done this. Right, I don't know because obviously you reviewed it, so you had a code. If you owned the Dying Light 2, whatever edition it would be, the special edition, this is still going to be a download for you. You don't have to buy it, I believe. And I think what a fucking good thing that is.
Yeah, because there's 30 odd hours in
it's
this.
A big old game. It is a full game. Like, don't misunderstand when we say it started as DLC. It is very much like Silksong in that respect. This is a full video game. And they could have easily, I would think they've got enough goodwill in the bank now, Techland, with all the Dying Light updates. They probably could have just said, well, it spiraled out and it's this now. But they've stuck by that, and I think, if I'm wrong, that whole bit of the podcast is going to make it sound really stupid, but I'm sure that's a thing. So
I'm sure there's, I'm sure there must be, and I haven't looked, so I'm a bit uninformed to say this, but I'm sure there must be a cash shop here somewhere. There must be a cosmetic thing somewhere for because I'm sure there was in the first game. I'm sure you had a lot of cosmetic DLC.
I think it's more, but that was it. It was more like DLC packs you could just buy from like the PSN store. I don't think it's like an in-game thing that I remember.
And I think that's but what I mean is like they can make some money from this if they want to.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of those games where I think Techland have really got a stride now. They've got a stride with this franchise where I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say they can't miss, because we don't know what will happen in the future with this franchise. And Dying Light 2 was nearly a miss. Like at launch, it was, a lot of people were complaining about the performance. It takes a really silly amount of time to get going. And to unlock sort of core skills that you should really have, and which the Beast gives you within like the first couple of hours. It took like 20 hours to unlock things like the grappling hook and stuff like that in Dying Light 2. And so I know they can make mistakes. But the Beast just really feels like a developer that just knows what they're doing now. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it feels like it's very confident, like really, really confident. It takes itself very seriously in the narrative. And then at the same time, as you say, you can strap electrodes to a sledgehammer and you've got an electric hammer somehow, or you can put liquid nitrogen on a kitchen knife and suddenly you've got a blade that freezes stuff. It makes no sense at all. It's very silly. You drop kicking zombies left, right, and center. You can scale anything, but then the storyline takes itself. It's got like an almost Resident Evil-y level of grandeur. Like this is real, guys, and this zombie outbreak is affecting the world, and this is at stake, and that's at stake, and at the same time you're drop kicking zombies off clock towers and things, and it's like, it's got that level of silliness that you kind of really need. And it was like, because Techland did
the first Dead Island.
Dead Island, they did, didn't they? And then this was what they thought it pivoted to.
Dying Light was, I think. Because Dead Island 2 had such a weird development. I want to say that the original team splintered off to make what we know now as Techland, and then Dying Light 1. And
the last Dead Island,
lifetimes ago.
I mean, the last Dead Island, a couple of years ago now, and this
Dead Island 2.
Yeah,
decent game.
It was a Dead Island 2, wasn't it? Very decent game. I liked it.
Yeah.
But Dead Island 2 and Dying Light the Beast couldn't be more different, while at the same time just both being about like killing zombies. But Dying Light always had, ever since the first game, it's had that element of the day-night cycle completely changes the game. And I think that's so it brings Kyle Crane back, which is good, because I can't even remember the name of the guy in Dying Light 2, but I remember Kyle Crane because Aiden,
I played it this year, to be fair. That's why I remember. He's not memorable.
Because Kyle Crane originally died, spoiler, at the end of Dying Light, and then they resurrected him because everybody went, "The fuck are you doing?" It was like one of the best bits of the game. It was really fun in a really chiseled jaw, generic hero kind of way, but he was really likable. And then like they released the following where they just brought him back to life, and like they added vehicles to it, and the following really added a lot of stuff to the formula. Really good DLC. Well, it was more of an expansion than just DLC. It was very much a big addition. And then like Dying Light 2 sort of had all that stuff, but it did this weird time gating thing that put a lot of people off, myself included, where I just kind of wanted it to get going. And even when you start,
they know that so much to the point that when you go and play it now, they have actually added a section from the main menu if you start a new game to skip the prologue.
Yeah, and you kind of have to. And whereas with Dying Light the Beast, it's the progression is much better. It's got an element of, I don't know if anybody remembers Far Cry Instinct, the Ubisoft, one of the early Far Cry games where you had like you had beast powers where you had like,
I love
so
that.
And it's got kind of element of that because Kyle's got, he's infected with the virus, but it's like a mutated version of the virus that literally he's the beast. Well, actually he's hunting down the beast, but he goes beast mode when he unleashes. I was going to say
they literally use beast mode as a
and so like, and it's got its own skill tree, but you have to kill other like hyper mutants in order to get chimeras in order to get the skill points for it. But it's just fun. Like it's like I've just come off a review window of Hell is Us, Borderlands 4, Dying Like the Beast, and Ghost of Yotei. So 4 quite big.
Been a shit year, isn't it? Really, been a shit year.
Not only 4 like really high quality games, but 4 very different versions of an open world system. And where Borderlands 4 is built on mayhem and it's zany and it's wacky and it's got all this sort of stuff in it and it is fun, obviously, there's something about Dying Light the Beast that it takes the element of a zombie apocalypse where you need to be prepared. So you want to craft all your ammo, you want to craft all your bandages, you got to do all that sort of stuff yourself. And then like if you're going somewhere in that game, I always find myself looking at the map and going, right, if I go all this way, there's a safe house there, so I'm going to go and unlock that first, because if I get caught out at night in Dying Light the Beast, I just shit my pants and I'm useless. Like I can't deal with the volatiles.
but I will
I
say,
have that level of horror game tension. It is harder.
This game is harder, I think. Unless they patched it a lot. They maybe by the time people are watching it, but this game is definitely harder.
They patched it upwards.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is by the time this is edited and put out, it may well be.
They may have,
gone the other way.
During the review period, we got a big load of patch notes that said we've made the volatiles harder and faster and more clever. And I was like, "Fuck me, I'm already."
It's definitely a game that's harder than what you experience. But the quality of life stuff, you mentioned it there. Fucking hallelujah that you can just repair weapons on the fly.
Oh, you can repair weapons where you want. You can craft where you like.
As long as you've got the gear, as long as you've got enough scrap and blah, blah, blah.
But that's everywhere. Yeah. You know, that sort of stuff. The only thing that I found really scarce was feathers because I always wanted to make arrows because the bow is such
and I started buying them all the time. I'm like, I'm not having an issue with
I was buying them, but I missed a lot, so I just wasted arrows.
That pretty much made me go quickly. Like, I'm just going to stick to battering things with shovels because I'm shit at aiming in this game.
But the melee combat feels good. They updated the combat during the review period. They changed some of the menu icons. They changed some of the visuals. They added animations into it and things that were not quite there at the beginning. So they did these things during that period. So the game at launch, incredibly polished for what this is like, and I'm not. That's not throwing shade at Techland, but for a Dying Light game, incredible level of polish. Like there were problems, there were some bugs and glitches and little visual things, but nothing like you saw in Dying Light 2.
I was going to ask you because you played on PC and I started on PC and moved over to PS5. The main one I've noticed, which again could be patched out by this point. I've been busy this week, so I haven't been back to it. I found that sometimes, not often, but it would happen often enough to be notable, is that if I battered a zombie near a wall, sometimes he'd glitch halfway through the wall, and that's not even a problem because it's just still silly and they're dead, but it meant I couldn't loot them, which was...
I never got collision issues. What I did get was the odd T-pose.
Oh, I've not seen anything like that.
Yeah, every now and again I'd blow, like it was usually if I used an explosive, I would scatter a load of bodies and one of the ragdoll bodies would just T-pose, and it was...
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
It was amusing in an endearing kind of way, but obviously it does break the immersion. There's nothing you can do about a T-posing enemy. But
if you're really playing these games to be like the dead serious story, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, come on.
I found so much of this game is so playable, and I know that sounds like a bit of a cliche thing to say nowadays, but it's so mechanically smooth.
Player first, sort of.
Yeah, it's really player minded, like to the point where there's no fast travel, but at no point was I like, I don't want to walk to where I need to go, because it takes you no fucking time to get anywhere. Like you move so quickly across rooftops. You can, and when you're running and you're leaping and hopping from place to place, there's vehicles everywhere.
Do you know what I think that is though? I had a thought about this. I've been saving this for the pod a bit, because when we play these games, whether it be any of the four you mentioned, you see maps and you don't in Hell Is Us, but you know what I mean. You see a map in a game and you're like, it's going to be bloody big. And like, I know before I even start Ghost of Yotei, it's going to have a huge map. I know Borderlands is going to be an enormous map. I think we're so conditioned to, when you bring a map up, you're like, well, God, I'm at this point and I want to go there. That's going to just be miles away. I think we're so conditioned to those maps being bloody enormous that when you play a game like The Beast, it's not tiny, but the map itself isn't as vast. So you're looking at a difference between, say, point A and B and thinking it's going to take ages. And I did that loads of times. I'd set a marker, run to it, and I'm like, oh, I'm there because I recognise that gate. And it's it isn't such a, and that's not a disservice. And I'm not being disingenuous about it. I like that. It is not this vast open world that, and
it level gates areas, which I didn't expect it to do.
No, but you can drive, and yet it still does. But it also doesn't feel too small. It feels. I hesitate to say it because I haven't played enough of it, perhaps, but it feels really well designed in that you drive somewhere and you follow the GPS, which you can turn off if you want a less UI heavy feel. You follow the GPS and it does take you, and it will take you through level areas that like you shouldn't be here, and you're like, I hope I don't run out of fuel. And then you come out of that area and you're into, say, a level 1 back into town, and you could have got there probably equidistantly quicker by just yomping it and leaping.
Because when you on foot you go as the
believable and creative. Like I quite like that. So
one thing I always liked about Dying Light, and it's back again in The Beast, is the idea that you can just sort of kind of go about your business. If there's no special zombies there, during the day. Like a lot of the time I would like kill 1 or 2 zombies, and then I'd sit there and pick this like the Skyrim lockpick, and I'd sit and like I'd be lockpicking a military convoy, and every now and again I'd just look to the right and the zombies would be like like a little bit closer, and I'd carry on and I'd be like, you go about your business, and then like I'd do what I wanted to do and then just leave them and bugger off. And then but there were times where it's like, I'm going to take all of you out, or and every now and again, you'll get a group of zombies and they'll all be standing there doing nothing. And all of a sudden, one of them will kind of go, ugh, and then charge at you like 28 days later. And it's like that, like sometimes you can see them and pick them out, and sometimes you don't know they're going to do it. But it's the day-night thing that it does is the same as, which is what the sort of USP of Dying Light is. It does so well in the Beast, I think. And there's not that many story missions that force you out into the night, and I knew some would, because both of the previous games did occasionally, like something had happen, Kyle would get knocked out, and then you sort of wake up and come to, and it's nighttime, and he'd go shit, and I'd be like, and the way this does it, it's so fucking tense. And you can like go into like an instinct mode, and it like highlights nearby, and normal zombies it doesn't highlight, but any special zombie will be red or orange, and like the volatiles are red, and you'll see them like stalking around. But when you go into focus mode, it really, you can't see anything. You can't make out your surroundings. All you can see is where the zombies are. So using that to try and navigate is impossible. So you like have to switch to that, see where he is, switch back, climb up a roof, and you can hear them. And like I kept saying to Adam during, like, while I was reviewing it, I killed a few volatiles. And obviously later on in the game you unlock enough stuff where you can, if you got a grenade launcher, you're going to kill a volatile. But like it takes a while to get to that point, and until you get there, they fucking terrified me in a way that I'd like. The only time I've got really scared of a game is like I got really scared playing like Alien Isolation and stuff, where that kind of tension.
That's valid.
I really struggle with that kind of tension, and I got that in Dying Light, because it doesn't matter how many weapons you've got. It doesn't matter if you've got a full bar of beast mode and you get to a point where you can like do it at will, to like unleash the beast at will. It doesn't matter. You can't kill them quick enough, and it's like even then, I've got machine guns full of ammo. I've got health kits. I've got Molotovs. I've got all this stuff. But I see a volatile, and the game will just like chase initiated, and the game will be like run, and it's like fuck, and then like I start running, and you'll sprint round a corner, and one will drop down in front of you, and you like back up and run the other way, and then one will drop there, and all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 on you. And I thought, like, the first time I ran to the edge of this, and I thought it was really cool and cinematic that I ran to like this bridge and like leapt off into this water, splashed into the water, and I thought, right, I'm all right now. No, they come in the water after you. And then like you basically just have to break line of sight and then get up high or sit behind something or in a bush, because they can't.
Or UV light still stops them.
Or UV lights, yeah, and they can't actually see. So if you can find a safe spot, you're all right. But the amount of times I was just like, you know what, I just stand still and let them kill me, and then it will respawn me in a safe zone. And because it doesn't. This is the thing that this, and I quickly found out that it doesn't. There's not, the stakes aren't there, like, because it doesn't reload a save. It just puts you in a safe house at the same time of day. So even when I was like mid-mission on one of them, and like I'd done something in the mission area, and then I fucking ran away, and the volatiles came and they killed me, and it just woke me up in the safe house, and the mission bit I was doing miles away was still done. So I was like, oh, that was actually a quicker way of getting home. I could have just it didn't change anything. I didn't have to reload a save or redo anything. So it does it sort of loses its threat when you realize you can game it a little bit. But, but the tension when you are playing, and like there are benefits, because at a certain point of the day you unlock, like, hives become available. Like, they're not there during the day all day long, but you can find hives, or I only found them at dusk anyway. Sort of when it was like, it comes up, it will say like 2 hours till nightfall, and then you'll walk past certain buildings, because you can go in so many buildings. You can go in so many buildings on the map and raid the rooms and look for stuff. And like all of them have got like a special weapon or a blueprint or a new item of cosmetic or something in them that's worth going in for, as well as just loads of resources. But every now and again, you'll find like a hive, and it will be like raid the hive, but you've got to get out before the volatiles come. So you've only got this really tight period of time. And some of these places are really labyrinthine. Like you'll go through corridors and down steps and find secret doors. And all, before you know it, you're like, I don't know how to fucking get out of here. And then it's like, you're in a volatile nest and they're about to wake up. And it's like, now I'm pooing my pants again. So like, but you don't have to do them. They're just there for an extra level of challenge. You get extra resources and better stuff if you do these. And obviously they're also to bring in the multiplayer element, because the multiplayer stuff, because I remember, I'm sure I played it with you, Dying Light 2, Adam, and we did quite a few, like, we did a couple of sessions where we played at night and we were doing these, because it brought the raids in.
I definitely have played Dying Light 2 co-op. I can confirm.
I'm sure I played
and
it.
When.
Yeah, I'm sure I played it with you, and we did a couple of these of like nests where you had to like clear the building out, and then you got rid of like the volatile nest, and you made it inert basically. And the hives like in this game are quite similar to that. But yeah, it's just fun. It's just one of those games. There's a lot in it. There's loads of content. I'll tell you, you could probably do the story in 10 hours, maybe, if you mainlined it. But
well, I suppose difficulty matters, but
yeah, but you won't mainline it because there's too many other things that you want to do. Like you question marks on a map. You walk towards it, and it's a clothing store, and there'll be feathers in there which you need, or there'll be, or like, because the crafting is so. Like, so how the crafting works is that I think you said it did the same in Dying Light 2, but I can't remember. So like, say you want to put an attachment on a weapon.
Yeah.
You don't craft the attachment and then you take it off that weapon, put it on another weapon.
You have a blueprint. You can just make that.
You just keep crafting it every time.
And you can upgrade those blueprints to be
so you upgrade the blueprint, not the item. So like you're always needing so many resources. So you'll never ignore anything. You'll always be like, well, I've got, and you constantly like check the time and go, well, I've got 5 hours till nightfall. That's enough time to raid this shop and make it to there on the map. But then you might come across like a side quest, or you might get lost in there or stuck, or it might be really hard, and then more time passes than you thought it would, and when you come out it's nighttime, and now you've got that tension of just trying to sneak back or book it back to the safe zones. But yeah, it's just really good fun, and like I said, such a different open world to the other ones I've been playing, that I've just kind of been in an open world sort of hog's heaven for the last 6 weeks. It's just been a really good time to be a reviewer, to be honest.
And if you want to read those very reviews, you can go to lootlevelchill.com and you can find all the reviews, lots more reviews of games than we have chance to talk about on a podcast. But those the three we have talked about this week, and possibly 2 of the 3 from the bonus podcast this week, you will also be able to find reviews of there. Thank you to Mick and to Lyle for being here, and thank you to you for listening or watching. Just a reminder, sorry to keep doing it, but it does help. You can, if you don't want to get involved like a subscription sort of thing with Patreon, I understand, patreon.com/lootlevelchill, but you can also go to the website lootlevelchill.com, and there's like a buy us a coffee thing, which is like if you just read a guide or review you particularly liked, thank us for it, we appreciate it. But yeah, otherwise on the Patreon you'll find access to Discord. We're looking to start doing some live streams soon. I watched Steve live stream Baby Steps a little bit, just because, and I think I need to tell him to stop and do that publicly, because that was entertaining. That game is streamer fodder, let's face it.
That seems like that's what it was for, yes.
100%. But yeah, we'll be doing more of that as time goes on. We've found our feet, sort of thing. So thank you again for watching or listening, and we will speak to you next episode or whenever you choose to listen. Bye bye for now.